Computer. All right, we should be live. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Alex Caragiannides here, BSM Vault. Welcome to another edition of our video tip of the week. Today, I'm going to take a little audible, and I'm going to invite one of my personal friends, somebody that I respect dearly. I've known him for a long, long time. I consider him one of my mentors. He's a coach. He's a consultant. He's worked for Tony Robbins. Actually, I believe he was one of Tony Robbins' best salespersons for a while. I'll let Brett tell her story. He's coached literally almost thousands, if not 3,000 people in his career. He's a sales guru. He's a presenter. He works with mortgage professionals, real estate professionals, network marketers, anybody that wants to elevate their business, grow their business, crush any kind of ceiling that they think they have mentally. This is my guy. So I'm bringing on Brett. Like I said, we're going to take a curveball here. Instead of me doing a video tip, I want Brett to kind of share with us how to mentally crush and just go straight through any ceiling that you have, any mental ceiling that you have, especially now that we're going towards the end of the year. Typically during the holiday season, either people, very few, have their best year ever and their best quarter ever right now, or most what they do is they're like, the holidays are here. It's time for me to back off, relax. Let's go into next year. No, 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 no. You still got to crush it right now. We all still have our opportunity to have our best end of the year ever. People need to be served. Let's serve them. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, Brett. Brett, take it from here, brother.
Awesome. Awesome. Woo! Thanks, Alex. Hey, I'm excited. First of all, thanks for having me on here with your group today. It's always a privilege. It's always exciting for me to be able to add some value, share some ideas, and to be able to make a difference and make an impact for those that are listening. So if you're in the insurance business, you're in the mortgage business, you're in the real estate business, you're in the chiropractor business, you're in the network marketing business, and you're watching this today, I really invite you to really be with us in such a way that you're able to walk away with an idea, a strategy, a tool, a philosophy, something that can really exponentially expand and grow your business. I'm really excited about being here. Thanks again, Alex, for this opportunity. And I want to kind of just give you a quick little backdrop. I've been doing this business now for the past 25 years. So as a success coach, as a speaker, as a trainer, as an author, for the past 25 years, I have committed my journey in this life to really empowering and to really impacting people. I started this journey, interestingly enough, I started this journey back with Tony Robbins in 1995. I started with Tony. I showed it. People say, oh, Tony Robbins. Yeah, big Tony Robbins. I started, people are like, how did you get started with Tony? Well, I recognized from an early age that if you're going through struggles and you're going through challenges, to find mentors, to find people that can help you get to that place, to be able to model, to be able to collapse timeframes, to be able to leverage other people's resources and knowledge to be able to assist ourselves in growing ourselves both personally and professionally. So I was at a place in my life where I had no job, no money, and no car. And I had somebody drop me off at Tony Robbins' office back in 1995. And I thought, hey, you know, Tony Robbins, he's done well for himself. He had Personal Power. He had Awaken the Giant. He had all this great success. So I showed up at his doorstep unannounced. Just so happened through the laws of luck and timing, Tony Robbins was there at the office. I met him at the elevator. I walked him down to his car. I was all excited. And so I went to work with him back in 1995 at $7.50 an hour. I figured you just start somewhere, right? You start at wherever you need to start in order to really elevate that success. And so I started at $7.50 an hour. I took two buses, a train, and a cab just to get to and from work. I was pretty much out of money by the time I got home. And I was at that place in my life where I just really wasn't that great at what it is that I was doing. And I recognized that I needed to get great. If I was going to really take this business, take this industry of personal growth, personal success, and if I was going to dominate it, then I was going to really need to work on me as a person. Some of you might be familiar with the great philosophy from Jim Rohn that says, if you work hard on your job, you're going to make a living. If you work harder on yourself, you can make a fortune. And so I never had a challenge with working hard on my job. I was always a hard worker. But what I recognized, I needed to start working harder on me. I needed to start working harder on my goals, my dreams, my vision, my mission, my passion. I needed to start working harder on this kid right here. And so when I began to do that, I began to elevate the level of my success. And I started to rise rank in Tony's company, and I started taking my income to a great place. And they put me as a sales trainer on the road. But I will say before I continue, that when they put me as a sales trainer, because I started first in the boiler room setting appointments on, on the phone. And then ultimately they're like, well, let's get him out on the field. Let's see how this guy's going to do. And literally it was within 2 weeks, they pulled the plug and said, this guy doesn't have what it takes. So I really recognized that I needed to really start to focus on getting and creating mastery for myself. And ultimately one day, there was a day, I like to say the day that turns it all around, at least it can. And so for me, that day was on December 15th, 1996, when I was being brought into the executive offices, and they were bringing me in that day to fire me. And you're probably familiar with the color of the firing papers. They're usually pink, and they're just looking for a signature and sending you on the way. And so my sales manager sits me down, and she goes, Brett, we really like you. You're a good guy. You're this and you're that. But we've made a decision that we need to let you go. And so I recognized, and I sat there that moment, I recognized that I had one of two choices. I recognized that it was either to step up or step aside. It was either for me to go, you know what, this business isn't for me. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. Maybe this is just, maybe this dream is for somebody else. Maybe I'm not the right fit. And then I thought to myself, you know what, that's hogwash. That's a bunch of BS. I need to get past that. And I stood up, my sales manager sitting right across me. She's just this little lady, about 4'10" or whatever she was. And I'm 6'5", and I hovered over her desk. And I said, you cannot fire me. I said, I will break all rules. I will break all whatever's been done in this company. I promise you, I will go past that. And her eyes like lit up like saucers. And she goes, okay, we'll give you one more shot. Well, that one more shot ultimately turned me into Tony Robbins' #1 sales trainer ever, breaking all sales records. I started taking my income up to $3,000 a check and then $5,000 a check. Ultimately, I got to $10,000 a check, feeling really good considering I started at $7.50 an hour. And then I got to $10,000 a check, and I thought to myself, what if I take the Ferrari out of the suburbs? In the suburbs, you got to drive real slow, no matter what kind of great fast car you have. I thought, what would happen if I took this, amazing vehicle called a Ferrari, and I took it into the desert, and I really just threw it down. I really just pressed it down. Like, what could I really make happen? And with that level of philosophy, that level of thinking, I was able to take my income from $10,000 on one check to over $100,000 on the very next check. So what I'm going to share with you today is not a concept. It's not rhetoric. It's not something I read in a book on chapter 9, paragraph 3. This is the real deal. And so if you are in a business right now, insurance, real estate, mortgage, network marketing, chiropractor business, and you are committed to growing and expanding your business, I promise you that what I'm going to share with you today, you can take any uncertainty about whether or not it's real or not, throw it right out the back door. Because the fact is, you and I, we are overloaded with so much information. So many people are, giving us this information and that information. It's like, what do we listen to? What really is going to be the thing to make the difference? And so the things I'm going to share with you today, the quick few things I'm going to share will absolutely make the difference. And so it's been an exciting ride. I've trained over 3,000 companies across the nation. I've moved 25 times in 5 years. And so I'm excited to share with you today some of the things. So if you got a journal, you're taking notes, let me share with you a couple of the quick things that really made the difference for me and my association with many of the different people, top people across the country that are considered to be the very, very best, meaning the #1 in their industry, whether it's the #1 real estate agent in the world with Century 21, or my dear friend Bob Lucido, the #1 Keller Williams agent in the world, or my good friend Mark Cohen, the #1 mortgage originator in the world. The year I interviewed him, he did 709 units, closed $751 million in personal production. But let me just start off by saying first things first. The first thing is that so many people, my belief is this, that no matter what business or industry you're in, my belief is that you already know what to do. You already know what to do. It's not, if you probably didn't start your business yesterday. You've probably been to conferences, you've been to seminars, you've read the books, you've listened to the audios, you've watched the videos, you know what to do. But it's really about getting ourselves to do what we know. And you see, you and I know that's the most difficult thing to do, because we all know what to do for the most part. But can we get ourselves consistently and ongoingly to step into our own power, step into our own greatness to begin to get ourselves to do those things? So the first thing I want to share with you is this. One of the things that I have found going across the country and taking on and working with coaching clients for the past 25 years now is that one of the first things that I find about most people is they're not thinking big enough. They're simply not thinking big enough. They're at a level of thinking that for most, it's how do I get by? How do I survive? How can I pay the bills? How can I get rent and car and food taken care of and a little bit of insurance? But they're not thinking epic. They're not thinking big. I'll give you a quick example. I wrote a book called The High Octane Loan Originator. And in that book, the person that wrote the foreword to that book, his name is Philip Mahone. Now, when I started working with Philip, he'd been in the business 17 years. So for like many of you watching, you've probably been in your business for quite some time. We have these limiting beliefs about what we're capable of producing. So when I started working with Philip, his business 17 years, he had 21 loan officers underneath him. He had been married for 15 years, 3 children. He had all these other demands, and he was doing about 8 to 9 deals a month. Now, the fact was 8 to 9 deals a month, he was pretty happy. But he wanted to have more, so he reached out. I said to Philip, Philip, what needs to happen in order for you to do 30 deals? Now, his mind just went into a freeze, like, well, what do you mean 30? I got 21 LOs underneath me. I got all these other demands. I coach my kids basketball 6 nights a week. Dude, what are you saying? And I said to him, I said, Philip, who said you can't have it all? Like, what part of your belief system said that you can't have it all? Who said you can't have an awesome marriage? Who said you can't have amazing teammates who are just crushing it and killing it? Who said you can't be one of the best golfers out there in Charlottesville, Virginia, throughout the nation? Who said you can't? Who said that? Who put limitations on your thinking? And so we took that belief system, we took those limitations off. We took the ceiling off of his thinking, which really what today's call is about, or video is about, is how to take the ceiling off of your thinking. We immediately did that. For the next 7 out of 11 months, Philip did 30 plus deals for 7 out of 11 months. Now, that's not rhetoric. That's not concept. That's the real deal. Ultimately, he started a net branch with the largest private net branch in the nation, had 720 branches. Within the first 4 months, we cracked the top 10 branches. The owner of the company, Jim Hodge, then calls me up and says, we've had people here 10 years not get to the top 10. How did you guys do it in the first 4 months? Like, how did you do that? We'll be in Dallas. We'll have a few thousand agents. Can you come and speak? Yada, yada. And so what I'm getting at is that if you take the ceiling off of your thinking, if you really look and go, wait a minute, how can I take my business and supersize your business? So you can have all these action items. And for most people today, they're chasing silver, shiny objects that just look so beautiful. And if you do this, and then if you do this. And I think for most people, no matter how many silver, shiny objects that you're chasing, if your thinking isn't up there, if your thinking's not at the top of the game, then it doesn't matter. You'll always still do just enough to just get by. So the first things first, I'd invite you to really look and go, what would happen if you were to take your thinking, take the ceiling off your thinking? Your thinking doesn't have to be your dad's thinking. It doesn't have to be your mother's thinking. It doesn't have to be your grandparents' thinking. It's your thinking. This is your journey. And that my invitation for you is that if you're with us here today to really look and go, what would happen if I were to take that thinking and just explode that thinking the same way when I went from 10 to 100. Now, most people in the Robbins company, well, everybody in the Robbins company looked and goes, my gosh, accounting goes, we've never wrote a $100,000 check. We've never done anything like that. And so I'm just inviting you to first things first, look and expand and grow that thinking. First things first. Number 2, I'd like to share is to make a decision here today. Make a decision. I always let people know that when, we do a conference call or we do a training or whatever that is, I let them know 1 or 2 things can happen. I let them know either something or nothing. Meaning that today you can watch this video and literally have nothing happen. It could be more information, another training, another getaway to another avoidance from prospecting. Oh, I got to learn more. I got to train more. I say today, make a decision, flat out. Forget about it. Make the hard decisions. Make the decisions that by making that decision, you'll explode your business. Many times, I remember we had a client in Minnesota, and I was inviting him to do some really epic numbers. And he said to me, the first thing he said when I invited him to do that, he says, well, how do I do that? How? I said to him, don't worry about how to do that. And I was nice. I said, but don't worry about it. I said, just decide to do it. Just decide. Here and for all, once and for all, draw a line in the sand where you say, enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And make a decision. I don't care what that decision is. Make a decision to be the best version of you. Make a decision to quit drinking. Make a decision to quit smoking. Make a decision to be the best in your company. Make a decision to be number one. See, just remember this, that decisions come first, answers come second. And so for what most people do is they're constantly in search of answers, answers, give me more answers, give me more answers. If you went on the internet right now, and if you typed in how to get rich, you'll probably guess how many millions and millions of pages on how to get rich. So the answer isn't in the how to, or how to lose 10 pounds. The answer isn't in the how to lose 10 pounds, because if you type that into the Google toolbar, you'll find millions of pages of how to get rich. The answer is in your decision. So today, just kind of go to your wall, draw a line and say, okay, here's what I'm going to decide to do. I'm going to decide to be the number one in the world. My friend, as I had mentioned, her name is Marty Rodriguez. She's the number one in the world with Century 21. She's always number one in the world or always number one in the U.S. Marty is so absolutely crystal clear that the reason she is there is because she has decided to be the very best and to be the number one in the world. And she's always number one in the world or always number one in the U.S. So if you're out there and you're toying around and you're looking for more trinkets, you're looking for more easy fixes to your cure on how do I take my business and go super big, do first things first and make that decision. I don't care if the decision is number one in your city, number one in your office, number one, taking your income and say, you know what, these next 45 days, while most people are going to be at holiday Christmas parties, ugly sweater parties, going out there and doing all that kind of stuff, you make a decision to dog down. You make a decision to step into the fire. You make a decision to do what the others are unwilling to do. I always tell people it's not that people can't do, it's simply they won't do. And what won't they do? They won't do what the others are simply willing to do. They're simply willing to get up early. They're simply willing to get into the gym. They're willing to get on the phone and prospect and face rejection. They're willing to get into their car, drive down the road, get out of their car, bang on a prospect's door. They're willing to do those. So if you're willing to do what the others won't do, you'll crush it. You will go out there and you will dominate your business. You won't just be one of the many, but you'll be one of the few. You'll be one of what we call the few who do versus the many who talk. Because you and I both know everybody talks a good game, especially, top of the year. Oh, I'm going to crush it. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to go out there and make it my best year ever. Well, let me ask you, did you do it this year? Because I'm sure at the beginning of the year as an entrepreneur, that was your outcome. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to crush it. I'm going to dominate it. I'm going to do things like never before. Well, we're about ready to wrap up the year. So have you done it? If you haven't done it, step up today. Make the decision. Don't wait till 2020. Don't wait till the end of the year. Step into the game right now. I promise you, if you do that right now, you'll be doing what others are unwilling to do. Meaning for most, they're just not willing to do that. I'm going to wait till the new year. I'm going to wait for a fresh start, a fresh beginning. Forget that. Every single day you and I wake up is a fresh beginning, is a fresh opportunity to really be all we can be. I also want to quickly say that make a decision, whatever that decision is, but here's the real hard decision. Here's the real hard decision. Y'all ready for this? Here's the real hard decision. The real hard decision is to make a decision to end the things that have been preventing you from succeeding at the highest level. Again, make a decision to end, to stop, to quit those things that have prevented you from really reaching your high levels of success. Because we all have some levels of addiction of some sort. For some, they're addicted to smoking. For some, they're addicted to drinking. For some, they're addicted to fear. For some, they're addicted to self-sabotage. You might know what I mean, right? When you start doing great things, you immediately sabotage because some inner belief that says you're not worthy, you don't deserve it. Oh, that's too much money. Money is evil. Whatever that inner conversation is, and we get addicted to that. People are chasers of comfort. They're not chasers of discomfort. They're chasers of comfort. Whatever they can find to give them the comfort, whether it be in food, whether it be in alcohol, whether it be on television, I don't care what it is, but people and human beings chase comfort. My invitation for you today is to make a decision to stop and to end once and for all those things that have prevented you from truly succeeding. My mom is an alcoholic. I grew up with a very intense alcoholic mother, horrifyingly intense. My mom's been now sober for 27 years. But you see, my mom didn't become sober. Yes, my mom didn't become sober. See, my mom used to be sick and tired of waking up hungover, not feeling great, and she'd talk about it all the time. But I'll tell you, here's where she shifted. When she was sick and tired of being sick and tired. See, so if you're in your business and you're sick and tired of being broke, you're sick and tired of not making enough money, you're sick and tired of just kind of hanging out in the pack, you're sick and tired of that, it's not enough. But if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, where you say, that's it, damn it, I'm done. I'm going to the top. I'm rising rank. I'm gonna do things like this year I've never done before. I'm gonna become a millionaire. I'm gonna become a double millionaire, a triple millionaire. And so my invitation is to end those things. Because for most people, what I see is this. They want to see if they can defy the laws of success. They want to see if they can defy the laws of success. They want to see if they could actually eat unhealthy and still lose weight. They want to see if they can not prospect and still get rich. Right? They want to see if they can live in fear and yet do the things that courageous people do. And it's a mismatch. It's not going to happen. There are certain laws of success you've got to abide by. It's just like the law of gravity. If you go jumping off your rooftop, right, there's no mercy for that. You know, God says, there's a law. Why didn't you follow the law? It was a simple one. It's called gravity. Right? You don't go jump off things. So you can't defy the laws of success. You've got to abide the laws of success, and that takes courage. That takes courage. That's the stuff that most people, they know they should do it, but they don't do it. And so I want to invite you today on this awesome day of November to really step into your power place. You know, really step into that place of who you are at your absolute very best. Let me quickly just share another couple quick things here. And that's this. And this is really important. This is a game changer for many people. So first of all, remember, think bigger. Really think big. Go for more. Break records. Do things that you've never done before. Make a decision today, flat out. Make a decision to end the things that have been preventing you from creating that amazing success. And just remember this, and please, this is highly important. You see, for most people, when I start doing coaching or when I start working with people, the first thing they want to come to the table with is go, what do I do, coach? What do I do? Just tell me what to do. You know, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And I don't go there. Like, you're not going to lure me in by that. Because most people are looking, again, they know what to do. And they're looking for different and other things to do. And so here's what I say, is that you can do the right thing, but be the wrong person and not get the success. So I could give somebody the right, here's what to do. Because a lot of times people come to me and they go, I say to them, well, tell me, Bob, what are you doing in your business? And they go, well, I'm doing this. Like, wow. It's not like I tell them all those are wrong. Most of the times they're doing the right thing. They're being the wrong person while they do the right thing. And so we are human beings. We are not human doings. So being is first. Being is first. So if you're being in fear, if you're being negative, if you're being a person with a bad attitude, if you're being resentful, if you're being frustrated, if you're being disappointed while you do the right thing, it's a mismatch again. You're not going to get the level of success that you so desire. So the first thing is to recognize, okay, who am I being? Am I being strong? Am I being powerful? Am I being courageous? Am I being authentic? Am I being vulnerable? Am I being responsible? Am I being confident? Am I being that person that has absolute unstoppable certainty? Am I being that while I do the right person? If you're doing that while you do the right thing, you'll get the right result. So most of the people that I work with, again, they're doing the right thing, but they're not being the right person while they do the right thing. So the first thing we do is manipulate how they show up as a human being and then get them to do the right thing. So one of the things I have recognized about success time and time again is that success is 80% mental, it's right up here, and then 20% is mechanical, meaning the doings, the tasks, the things that you are led to go do. But success is up here. Years ago, some of you may remember Tony Robbins worked with Andre Agassi. Andre was number 1. He then dropped to number 30. Now, when you're number 30 at almost anything, well, at least in sports, there's not a big payout. So he was really committed to getting back to number 1. So he hired Tony Robbins. He paid Tony Robbins back many years ago, $250,000. And he brought Tony in. Now, Tony doesn't play tennis. So Tony didn't come in and go, okay, Andre, here's how you hold the racket, and here's how you swing, and here's how you do this. Tony didn't teach him that. He taught Andre how to hold his mind as he held the racket. See, most are holding the racket right and their mind wrong. See, what would it be to you, your life, your business, your income, your transformation if you began to hold your mind right as you held your racket right? Have those two things combined right there? It's a game changer. Took Andre right from 30, boom, right up to number 1. By working on his mind, by working on what's going on in the inner infrastructure of his own mind. So I invite you today to really look and to examine, to look and go, am I being that person? Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm frustrated because I feel like I'm doing all the right things. I'm out prospecting. I'm getting on the phone. I'm calling my database. I'm banging on doors. I'm doing all those things, but I'm not getting the success. And my heart goes out to that person because they don't understand that it's here first. Once they get it, the light bulb clicks on and they snap and they go to a whole new place. So that's what I would invite you here today. And lastly, before we wrap up, a couple other quick last things.
Hey, Brett, you still there? I lost your volume. No, I can't hear you, brother.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Good, good. You're back. You're back.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so we're back on. I'm on my cell phone here, and we just had a call come through. So, but here today is this, and we'll start to wrap up, is to really recognize, so you make a decision, I'm going to start thinking bigger, I'm going to end the things that, that are killing my own success, that are sabotaging my own success. I'm really going to begin to just do the things that others are unwilling to do. I'm going to call my database. I'm going to start prospecting. I'm going to be the person necessary in order to achieve that level of success. And what I would say today, and people ask, what is the thing, Brett, that really helped you turn things around? I mean, you're a guy that at 19 years old, you boarded a Greyhound bus with 50 borrowed dollars. You're a guy that spent the majority of his early life to really, scrapping. That's why you showed up at Tony Robbins' door. And so what I tell people is really what it ultimately comes down to is this major one thing. It's a major one. It's not a minor. Most major are the minors. This is a major. And if you major in this aspect right here is to begin to recognize that the most successful people are the most successful people because they simply have the highest of standards. They have high standards. And so what are when we talk about raising our standards? When we talk about raising our standards, raising our standards is really taking our shoulds of our life, and transforming those shoulds into an absolute must. Transforming the shoulds, because think about the shoulds we have, right? I should prospect, I should be in the gym, I should eat healthy, I should quit drinking, I should quit smoking, I should get the exercise, I should have a better attitude, I should read more, I should. Ultimately, we say we can just really should all over ourselves, right? So when we begin to really identify what are the shoulds that I have, that if I were to transform those shoulds, and no longer am I should doing them, but I must do them, like I must. And if you begin to recognize that power of a must, I was always told that in life we get what we must have. So for most people, their income is pretty much parallel to what they must have. It pays my bills, it does this, it does that, but there's not a lot of excess until you make excess a must, until you make abundance a must. And if it's just a should, like I should have more, I should have abundance, I should this, I should that, I should have overflow, it's still a should. And until you say, you know what, it's a must, man. I'm so committed to making it a must. So if you identify what are the top 2 or 3 musts that, or shoulds that you have, that you just, I should write a book, I should do this, I should do that, and you just every day, every week, every month, every year, it's still a should. That today could be the opportunity for you where you say, you know what, man, he's right. This is, I'm killing myself with a bunch of shoulds. I need to get into the must zone. It's like, what is that must zone where you get off the phone or get off this call here today or this video and you say, you know what, it's a must for me to prospect every single day, 2 hours a day. For most people, again, they're looking for the magic cure, like some magic thing, and we're in sales. We're in business. Our job is to be prospecting. Our job is to be going out there making things happen. And so if you begin to say, you know what, make prospecting a must. I'm going to go out there with a great attitude. I'm going to go out there and be the very best that I can be. I'm going to create mastery in what it is that I do. But I'm going to make a must every single day. So if you don't change anything else, but you prospect and make it a must every single day, like do or die, that's 10 hours a week. That's 40 hours a month. For most people, they can course correct their entire financial world by simply getting on the phone prospecting. For most people, they got a bunch of activity going on, a bunch of shuffle, a bunch of movement. But when it really comes down at the end of the day and you say, how long did you prospect that, with that person? How long did you go in the field? Oh, I didn't get an opportunity to. Oh, I got so busy. Oh, I was on the phone doing this. Oh, I was working on a lead generation source. All that's fine and dandy. Do those at different times of the night. Do those when other people are sleeping. You're grinding over here, building different systems and different procedures in place. But if you take 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week, 40 hours a month, boom, you're going to hit a home run. So just think about today, what is a must where, like I said, something can happen here or nothing. And I promise you something magical will happen. And when I took my income from 10,000 to 100, man, oh man, I'll tell you, I had a bunch of shoulds and I didn't want to get rid of those shoulds, but I knew deep down inside that if I could end the shoulds and turn it into a must, then I could far exceed what any of the other people were doing in my world. And I did. I crushed all their records. All the guys would go, oh, I'm so awesome and I'm number one and I'm the best. Forget about it, bro. You're going down. But you got to make those musts, and if you do, you'll have amazing success. I want to say one last thing. Do I have time on this, Alex, to say one last thing here?
Yeah, you're good, man. The mic's all yours, but I know you have another appointment to go to, so it's all good.
Yeah, okay, great. So just one last thing here is to recognize that for most people, they're looking to have everything perfect. They just want everything perfect. They were trained to have the perfect hair, the perfect makeup, the perfect this, the perfect that. And we get many times trained to perfection. And that we're always seem to be working on things until we get it perfected. And I just want to invite people that are listening that are, quote, working on things, working on a book, working on a new funnel, working on your presentation, working on whatever that might be, to make it okay, that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not building a roller coaster. When you build a roller coaster, it has to be perfect. Why people keep falling out of the roller coaster? Because it's not perfect. Right? So the only thing that I really know is that a roller coaster has got to be absolutely 1,000% perfect. Your sales funnel does not. Your presentation does not. You will perfect it. I have a dear friend of mine. His name is Blake Newbar, and I love Blake, and he's in his mid-30s. And Blake is with a company called ClickFunnels. Well, he's a supporter of ClickFunnels and a user of that. And they have what's called the 2 Comma Club, meaning that your sales funnel generated $1 million of income within 1 year. Blake Newbar became a 2 Comma Club member in 43 days. Now, why did he become a millionaire? Why did he become a 2 Comma Club member in 43 days? Because he has what he calls the imperfect launch. He has a shirt. It's called the imperfect launch. He had a group within 24 hours, had 1,200 members. We just went over the 3,000 member range here just a few days ago because everybody comes in and goes, yeah, I've been taught to be perfect. Can you teach me how to not be perfect and still be rich? He believes in the imperfect launch. I'm a big fan of that, but I was one of those guys for the longest time that all had to be perfect. And I recognized that I just wasn't getting anything done. And I had books that I was working on, never got done because they had to be perfect. Now I published 3 books and I've got audio products out, all kinds of fun stuff. But I just recognized it's never really truly going to be perfect. You'll always be able to look at it and, fix it this and fix it that. But whatever you have, get it going. Whatever you have, do it today. Start now. Forget about the rest of the year that, I'll start next year. Whatever you need to do, start it today. Don't wait until it's perfect because for the most part, it's never, ever going to be perfect. Again, unless you're building a roller coaster. And you're building a business, you're out prospecting, banging doors, talking on phones. And I say just be the very, very best that you can without feeling like it's got to be absolutely perfect.
My man.
Awesome.
You always inspire me, brother. You are definitely gifted. It wasn't a free ride for you. You obviously put in a lot of work, and you still put in a lot of work. I really appreciate
constantly.
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing this message. I want to do a quick recap for everybody watching because I took some notes, obviously.
Great.
So first off, I typed in how to get rich in Google and 2.3 billion results. Billion with a B.
I'll have to now remember that. 2.3 billion.
With the B, results came back. So it's not about the how-to, right? Because there's plenty of how-to information out there for all of us. So number one, I wrote down think big, right? So when you tell me think big, when I hear you think big, have a vision, right? A vision much bigger than where you are today. I 100% agree there. Everybody, right? Write down. You know what's worked for me, Brett? I was taught this years ago when I was in the mortgage business to have a 5-year vision, and I loved it. And then somebody else recently in the last year taught me to have a 10-year vision. She's like, just go out 10 years. So I did it with my wife this last week. We did a 10-year vision exercise, and we're still kind of like finishing up. But the crazy thing is I have a daughter, and she's 7 right now. So we went out to 2029, 10 years from now. Wow. And my daughter's 17. My wife started crying. She's like, oh my gosh, our daughter's 17, right? So having that mindset of dreaming big and having a big vision is beautiful because then all you got to do from there is just reverse engineer it, right?
That's right.
We're writing down, me and my wife, we're coming back from Greece. We're traveling Europe with our daughter. She's 17. She's a lady at this point, right? So I don't know. It got me excited, got my wife teary-eyed, but I got excited for her. So think big, number one. Number two, decide to do it. I love your comment. Decisions come first, answers come second. A lot of time, this is how I correlated. A lot of time, a lot of clients of mine too, or people that I work with, they're always focused on the results. There's nothing wrong with that, right? We always want to have a scoreboard, but what we always want to be focused on more, I believe, is the activities, right? The routines, the rituals. The results will take care of themselves. There's nothing you can do about having a bad month by just staring at the bad month, right? You just had. You're better off focusing on what activities you got to do every single day, every day, your activities, having a scoreboard, and the results exponentially will take care of themselves over time. But I love the comment you made. Decisions come first, answers come second. Number 3, I just wrote down Marty Rodriguez. I had no idea Marty Rodriguez was still the #1 realtor in the world.
Still,
right?
Still.
Is she still with Century 21?
Still with Century 21.
Oh, man.
And we've been pals for 25 years.
I know, man. I know. She commented. She actually tagged and commented on one of your posts the other day.
Yeah.
I noticed that. And you've known her for a long time. And I know you now for years. And you were talking about her back in the days. So anyways, I had no idea. Kudos to Marty. Number 4, I wrote down, be willing to do what others aren't willing to do. That's a great one. I want to put that actually up on my wall. Be willing to do what others aren't willing to do. That's awesome. Number 5, every day we wake up. This is really cool. Every day we wake up, it's a fresh new day. Every day is a brand new day, right? The sun rises, the sun sets. Every day we have new opportunities. That's great. That's actually really refreshing. No matter how rough your day is, everyone, doesn't matter. No matter how great it is or how rough it is, guess what? Next day, we start all over again. Right?
I want to cap on that just for half a second. I did an interview, I may have mentioned, I don't remember here, with Mark Cohen. He's the #1 mortgage professional in the world. The year I interviewed Mark, he did $751 million in personal production and closed 709 units with one junior LO, just one junior LO. So it's not like some massive team, one junior LO. But one of Mark's philosophies that I absolutely love is that every day when he wakes up, he says it's 0, 0. Ready, go.
Yeah.
So he doesn't believe that because he wakes up that he's any better than anybody else. He doesn't believe because I'm number one in the world that I'm always going to be number one in the world. Because every day, 0, 0. Ready, go.
Yeah, that's great. That's great
Yep.
insight. So every day for all of us is an opportunity. We're all going to start from the same playing field.
Same 0, 0. Same place.
Got it. Next thing I wrote, I love this one, being first, right? We're human beings first. We're not human doers, right? I love what you said. You said you could be doing the right things, but you cannot be mentally in the right place, and the results won't come, right? You could be doing the right thing. Like you said, most people know what they need to do.
Yeah.
Most people know what they need to do, right? The more people you talk to, the more people you shake hands with, the more opportunities you have to serve people. We know what we need to do.
Right.
But if mentally you're not in the right state, then you could be doing the right things, but not making any progress. I love that one.
That's right. Yep.
How do you show up as a better human being is what I wrote down. That's great.
Yep. Yep.
Sorry, I got a couple more, guys. Sorry.
No,
80% mental, 20% technical. I've heard that before. I agree with it 100%.
Yep.
Raising our standards. Take our standards or our should do's and transition them into must do's. I love that one. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you 3 must do's that I have because I'm a big fan of what you said. I could do a better job of adding more must do's, but my 3 main must do's every day is I have a morning routine every day. That's a must do. It's a non-negotiable. It's literally changed my life.
You're very strong with that. Yes.
You know, it's crazy when I don't have my morning routine, which is very rare. I'm off, right? I'm off. When I have my morning routine, I'm up at 5 a.m. I meditate, I read, I journal. I have a success journal. I'm always rotating books every week, and I go work out. I crush my day. It just happens all the time. So number 1 for me, must do is morning routine. Number 2 is I have to prospect every day or work day 2.5 hours, right? So you mentioned 2 hours. I totally agree with it. If all I did on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and maybe half of Friday was prospect 2.5 hours, if that's all I did, and I was aggressive and I was smart with how I did it, right? That's how you get massive growth. So I agree there. And my third one is, this sounds funny, but I have to be conscious of it, is being patient and kind with my wife and children. Like I don't have to remind myself to love my wife and children. I love my wife to the moon and back.
Of course.
I'll die for my children, all 3 of my children. So that's nothing to me. That's not a given. I don't have to remind myself of that. But what I do have to remind myself and change it into a must do is being patient and kind. Right? So those are my 3. I just want to share that with you guys.
Yes. I'll share with you something real quick that transformed me in that area. Is that many years ago when I was at work in the retail sector, I was probably 19, 20 years old. I was in Beverly Hills working. I worked at a plate company called, for many, you might remember, Circuit City. And it was like Christmas time.
Are they still around?
No, they're gone.
They shut down. That was a competitor. That was a competitor to Best Buy, but they're gone.
Right. Yep. And so I remember the line was horrendous. I met the cashier. And when ultimately this guy came up to my register, I said, "Sir, thank you so much for being patient. Here's the game changer." He said, I remember it for the rest of my life. He said, I learned something many years ago. He said, I learned to either be patient or become a patient. That was a game changer for me. Last night I was going to a meeting at Elway's downtown Denver, and traffic was just, in my early days, I'd have been like, oh, God, geez, traffic. Look at all the red lights and da-da-da-da. No worries. I'll settle in. I'm good. I'll get there when I get there. I'm not going to become a patient over this one. It's just traffic.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's a good opportunity for you to make calls, or good opportunity for you to listen to some podcast or some training. That's how I look at it. When I commute, I live in Boulder now, or in Niwot, which is in Boulder County, and I commute to Denver. It's actually, I love it. First of all, the commute, the drive to me is I love the nature. I love looking at the mountains, at least when I'm out west, right, close to the mountains. And then I just make opportunities to make my calls. I make 10 or 15 calls driving. I make 10 or 15 calls driving back. In between, I might have an audio tape that I'm listening to. I always like doing training. So, yeah, I agree with you. Patience and kindness for me. One more thing I wrote down was, and I love this, it's not about perfection. It's about taking progress. It's okay not to be perfect, right?
Absolutely.
I share this a lot. I remind myself a lot too. Yeah, sometimes I take a little bit longer on my funnels because I want them to be perfect. Sometimes I take a little bit longer on my ebook, right? I just put together this lead generation blueprint ebook that I'm going to use, right, to get my message out to different audience in Canada. And my wife, it's funny, this happened yesterday. I finished it yesterday. My wife was telling me, "What's taking you so long to put this out there?" And I'm like,
Right.
"I don't know." She goes, "I bet you it's ready right now, isn't it?" I go, "Yeah, I just wanted to be perfect." She goes, "Perfect?" She goes, "What?"
Nice.
So she just called me out, and I'm like, "All right, babe, you're right."
Awesome. Love
Right. So
Chloe.
yeah, make progress, not about perfection. Start where you are. So
Right.
anyways, great stuff,
Yep.
Brett. Listen, brother, you're a special man. I'm very grateful
Thank
to have you in my life. I appreciate you making time. There's a lot more that we could do together. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you're in BSM University. So everybody, just so you understand, Brett is not only a good friend of mine, but Brett is a stud at what he does. We're gonna invite him back often. You're gonna see some of his stuff because he's gonna be kind of like just chiming in and posting in the group. Like he said, he is an author. One of his books, I have two versions of it. The mortgage book, that's how we originally met. You gave it to me as a gift. But he has some really awesome products. I'm going to be helping him get him out to the market. He works with network marketers. He has a real estate Titans product. He has a mortgage Titans product. What else do you have? You have a speaking one and a sales one?
And speaking.
Yeah.
Real estate, mortgage, network marketing, speaking, and real estate.
Yeah, solid content, everybody. Remember, take action. It's not about what you know. It's what you understand, apply. Always take action. Brett, I'll catch up with you later, brother. Thank you again for your time. Everybody else, thank you for joining us. See you guys soon. Happy holidays.
Thanks, Alex.
See ya.
Awesome. Bye.